So Clint Gutherson, as we reported yesterday, the Eels have held a meeting with Gutherson to get his blessing about potentially chasing someone who may move into that fullback role throughout the game or potentially permanently. They wanted to be transparent with Clint Gutherson about that conversation, and he's given them their blessing. So it's now come out that they're chasing fullbacks, potential. That what they are saying, Parramatta, is they're chasing a game breaker. And if it's someone of quality, then Gutherson's agreed that he would be willing to play in the centres, shift position, potentially Wanga Blake's position there, and do what's best for the team. But there aren't a lot out there. So Parramatta are now in the process of looking for someone. I know they've made inquiries with Jayden Campbell, whether or not Jayden Campbell's a quality enough player to push Gutherson out to the centres or even play different positions. Now, I don't think they get Jayden Campbell. I don't think the Gold Coast Titans release him. But you're also in a position where Guther's heading towards 30, and you've got to look to the long-term future of the club, whether or not they get a fullback from November 1. There's a few people coming off contract November 1, and if Gutherson then transitions to centre, Joseph Manu's a free agent November 1. Like, Parramatta are making decisions now for the future and in the short term, and they wanted to have a conversation with the captain to make sure he's across it.
I'm not saying you're not right, but I just can't believe it. I mean, he's 29, turning 30. Yeah. He's still got another 2 or 3 years at his peak. I mean, between 28 and 32 is probably when you're at your peak. And I mean, let's think about the top-notch fullbacks out there. We're talking about Latrell Mitchell, Turbo, Tedesco, and probably maybe Pappenhausen. They're not leaving their clubs. No. Their clubs are not letting them go. Now, young Campbell, is he as good as Gutho? Look, mate, Gutho's probably just a tier below them at the most. Like, Gutho's such a good player.
People at Parramatta see that perhaps. Well, I'm not a coach. I don't know what their plans are in regards to the way they want to play their footy. But they see something there worth experimenting. They feel they're a game breaker short at the moment. A superstar, X factor. Yep. Now they're not growing on trees. Those kind of players.
Yeah, that's the problem. If they could get one of them 3 or 4 guys, okay, and maybe Manu at fullback, maybe, but all of a sudden
maybe a young gun, maybe to try and develop over the next year or two and transition Gutherson. They're the kind of questions that they're asking at the moment, and it may not eventuate into anything. They may not find someone that suits what they're after. But they're having the conversation with Clint Gutherson because it's inevitably going to get out when they ring people like Jayden Campbell or other players. I think that kid from St Helens, Jack Wellesby, is it? Yeah, he may be someone they target. It's going to be a hefty transfer fee. But Parramatta are at least having those conversations with the captain rather than doing it behind his back.
Is it a fair conversation to have, Gus, with someone of Gutho's ilk? If it's happening?
Look, I think the story's arse up. I think the approach came from Gutherson himself. He was worried about the depth at the club. I think he instigated the conversation. Had nothing with them shopping for another one. It was whether or not they had someone in the club they wanted to nurture and someone he could help. So I'll be very interested to see what Clint Gutherson says about it. But I highly doubt Parramatta went to Gutherson and said, we want to look for a better fullback than you. I just don't think that happened.
That wouldn't have been what happened in terms of they don't say they want a better fullback. But do you think that Gutherson came to them and said, we should look at another fullback?
No, he said, what have we got depth coming through in centres and fullback? And do I need to play another position if we've got someone better than that? He's worried about other positions in the team. So I think Gutherson instigated the conversation. I think you'll find that to be a fact.
All right, looking forward to hearing from the coach and the captain. Speaking on Tuesday, Michael?
Tomorrow.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
All righty.
He's not retiring.
He's not. Clickbait, stay with us.
I'll find a place for him if he can't get a home.
We'll wrap things up. Gutho to the Dogs.